think we're in the middle of a huge transformation. I look at it more like, like the iPhone introduction. And so just like today, right, like I forgot my phone, like on the weekend, I forgot my phone at home. And you could sense the anxiety, like, oh my God, like I don't have my phone with me. What am I going to do? I think that very soon it will be the same with AI.
Hi, this is your host Sapnil Bhartiya and welcome to TFR Let's Talk. Today we have with us Dorit Zilbershot, VP of AI and Platform Innovation at ServiceNow. Dorit, it's great to have you on the show.
Well, great to be here, Swapnil.
It's my pleasure to host you here. And since I'm hosting you for the first time, so of course we'll talk about AI and platform innovation, but I also want to talk a bit about ServiceNow. You folks have done a lot of acquisition, a lot of companies that we used to work with that, they are now part of ServiceNow family. So I want to understand the role ServiceNow is playing in this modern new cloud native world because you folks have been around. So you have seen a lot of innovation. Sometimes you see those things, it may look like, just like a blip. And sometimes these are transformation technologies. So I want to hear your perspective. What is ServiceNow in this world?
We officially started the journey a year and a half ago. Unofficially, we've been working with large language model for several years with our AI research team. And if at the beginning people were wondering, is this, is this just a phase and a trend and something that will just go away? We know that today this is here to stay. When I talk to customer, it's not really a question of if they need to incorporate generative AI into their enterprise, it's a question of when and how. And so we really look, when we think about our mission as ServiceNow, that we really make the world work more efficiently, and we focus on digital transformations for our enterprise customers. Generative AI is a key component of that. This is how you increase productivity. This is how you get more value from the ServiceNow platform. This is how you change the experience of your employees and your customers with the conversational first experiences. And so we really see this fully embedded within our platform. And we see us being the leaders of introducing generative AI into the enterprise.
When we talk about AI, and then we also talk about Gen AI, AI has been around for decades. We have been using AI almost everything. Even the camera that I'm using here is a DSLR. It has AI, machine learning to track our faces. But Gen AI has kind of rekindled people's interest in AI, Gen AI, especially with the work that OpenAI, ChatGPT has done there. There's a lot of buzzword in the enterprises. There's a lot of buzzword in the consumer space, and also there's concern about copyright and all things. But I want to talk about enterprises, how mature you see Gen AI. AI is mature. Gen AI is in to actually be part of products, or you feel that this is very early age and just the way we used to tinker with things like Docker, containers or Kubernetes and a lot of other emerging technologies. So where are we now?
Look, I think we cannot escape this, right? Employees are consumers at the end of the day as well. And so if you're used to using generative AI outside of your workplace, you want to use generative AI as part of your workplace as well. And so we do see the need to incorporate generative AI into work because you expect that. Our customers expect that. However, to your point, enterprise is very different from consumer experiences. You need to think about data privacy. You need to think about what does hallucinations mean and how do you present information back to the user. You need to think about responsible AI, trustworthy AI. And so all of that are capabilities that we're heavily invested in ServiceNow. We take a human-centric approach when it comes to AI and generative AI. I mean, we make sure that first the user always knows that content has been generated by AI. We make sure that the user always has to approve the content. And we're launching capabilities around trust building, meaning you need to know what is the hallucination rate, what is the edit rate of content, and things like that to make sure that when you put it in the enterprise, you get the trust. Another thing that we've done, which I think we're the only ones in the market in the enterprise domain, we took for our large language models the approach of running them within our data centers. So we build our own, what we call Now LLM. So ServiceNow models that run in ServiceNow data centers. Customers have full control on what data is being shared, how it's being shared, if it's even being shared. And they know that the data doesn't leave the premise of their data center. So they know that they can trust as they trust our ServiceNow as a brand before generative AI, they can trust us with generative AI because we fully protect their data.
Every company, modern company, or even incumbent, everybody wants to leverage Gen AI technologies. Now, their own applications, their own infrastructure, or their own teams may not be prepared fully, either from the solutions point of view or culturally. So instead of looking at Gen AI as another piece to kind of create a Frankenstein's monster, how does ServiceNow kind of make it easier for them to consume, start leveraging these technologies without having to worry about all the work that goes into it?
Yeah, that's a great question. And we are seeing the full range of types of customers, right? You see those customers that are early adopters, ready to start doing prompt engineering and are ready to build. Well, and then you see the other range of customers that are very risk averse and conservatives and are trying to fully understand how to even get started. Since we are a platform, we make sure that we can address all concerns of all customers as well as the things that they want to build. And so we took a platform approach, meaning we ship with out of the box generative AI capabilities, like being able to summarize a case or an incident, be able to summarize a chat, be able to incorporate generative AI into your chatbots as a virtual agent. And we're able to build these as out of the box. It's really just a turnkey for customers who want to adopt generative AI and make their employees and customers more productive. But as a platform, we also allow customers to connect to third-party LLMs, bring even their own LLMs. Some of our customers actually, train LLM that is specific to their domain, as well as build what we call skills, right? The thing that what the generative AI knows to do. So they can even create the prompt engineering within ServiceNow. But we provide an environment where they can fully understand what is the prompt. They can have those trust builder capabilities built in, and it's all fully integrated into our UI. So you can get those generative AI capabilities part of the employee workflow. So it's not just something on the side that they have to go to. It's really part of the workflow, fully integrated into the ServiceNow interface. And so we really taken these two, targeting all types of customers and different types of maturity levels and different needs, where you have out-of-the-box capabilities, just get started very quickly, and then you also are able to develop generative AI. And what we look at ourselves is really the orchestrator across all the generative AI capabilities that you have in the system, just like we've done in the past that we are able to integrate to all systems in the enterprise. We are able to oversee all the generative AI capabilities in the enterprise, because we know today that it's not just a single vendor that does generative AI, right, for a customer. Customers do have to work with different vendors, each one of them having their own generative AI. And so there's a natural place for ServiceNow to really be the orchestrator and the hub where you monitor all those generative AI capabilities.
If you look at the general discussions when it comes to LLM Gen AI, a lot of concerns are there about IP leak. Of course, we can talk about publisher newspapers, they are blocking APIs. That is a totally different topic. But there are some concerns around, of course, exposing information to the AI. When these enterprises plug these into their own stuff, do they also have concern, hey, this is the kind of data set that LLMs can access, versus this is because you just do not know the scope, everything you touch can be exposed. So first of all, are you seeing any such concerns? And if yes, how does ServiceNow kind of build that separation?
Yeah, definitely. So we talked about the fact that you can access our ServiceNow LLMs within the data center, so you can really control whether your data is leaving, the premise of your instance and is being used to train the public model. So we allow customers to really choose whether they want to share their data or not, and they know that it never goes to the cloud or some kind of a third-party model to be trained as a generic. But we also see, to your point, that for specific capabilities, customers want to be able to control. They want to be able to control what data this capability has access to, but also who's the person that has access to this generative AI capability. And so we really, we always say that AI is only as powerful as the platform it sits on top of. And we're lucky enough to have a very solid and scalable and robust enterprise platform. And so we're able to leverage all the capabilities, all the security, all the permissions and things like that in the ServiceNow platform, just apply them to generative AI. So you can control what data the generative AI capability can access. You can control who can access that and really leverage existing capabilities to have this governance on top of the generative AI capabilities.
Can you talk about the clear benefits that your teams have seen when it comes to things like Copilot Now Assist in making it doesn't matter who is the beneficiary, whether the developers and end user, how does it impact their life?
This is really fascinating. And I can say, it's fascinating for me to even see, usually when you talk about enterprise customers, right, it takes time for them to adopt new capabilities and go through the change management around that. With generative AI, we actually seen massive adoption and very quick to implement. So some of our customers actually went live within 6 weeks, which is unheard of, right, in the enterprise domain. And so lucky for us, we're able to very quickly see value and work with customers to how they realize the benefits of generative AI. And I can share that we in ServiceNow, we drink our own champagne and are using our product. And our CIO shared that we're driving $10 million in tangible benefits every year as part of the generative AI capabilities. And that's due to increasing the deflection rate. So as employees, when we go and we ask for information, or we want to replace our laptop or things like that, we're able to, about 20% more of those requests are being automated and handled by the generative AI, virtual agent that we have, so that as an employee, I don't have to go and talk to an agent and have that work. We also see from a developer perspective, we have code generation and flow generation. So we've seen 50% increase in automated workflows created with flow generation, and 48% of our software engineers accepting the text to code generation that we have. So we are seeing massive productivity gains, but not just internally. We're seeing customers like Hitachi, like BNY Mellon, like Equinix, seeing about 30% increase in productivity, whether it's their employees or whether it's their support agents that are able to just do more with the time that they have. And it's not just about productivity gains, it's really about the quality of the work that goes up. Because if you think about a developer, their code is more according to best practices, less performance issues. If you think about a support agent, they're documenting more of the content because we made it easy. The language that they use when they respond is more engaging because we're helping them generate those responses. So even the quality of the work goes up.
And if we look at the kind of product portfolio that ServiceNow is building around GenAI, of course, different industries, but from your perspective, which is the one that is most exciting? Of course, they're all your babies, so you're excited about all of them, but more exciting, most challenging, and most innovative when we look at these solutions?
I think for me, it's really about how we make this generative AI just more powerful based on the ServiceNow platform. So I'll give an example. So we have virtual agent, and it's really easy, right, to write generative AI conversations with virtual agents, but you still have to script it, right? You still have to say if this, then that, and kind of go through the motion of understanding what will be the script of the conversation. But we took an existing ServiceNow capability, like catalog items, which is basically a form. Think about a form where you ask questions. Let's say you want to, request for time off, and there's a list of questions that you need to answer in order to take that time off. We took that form and we made it conversational in a way that if you put the wrong content, right, it knows how to ask you for the right information. If you want to change the field, it knows how to do that. It's able to do this multi-turn conversation just based on the form. So we really took advantage of capabilities and content that is already within ServiceNow that our customers spent and invested a lot of time in building. And just with the addition of generative AI, we kind of made that capability 10 times more powerful. And I think that's really how we're seeing the value, is how do we take customers of ServiceNow, just with the investment they've made, just 10 times, more powerful as an organization. And that to me is the exciting, right? We can build a lot of new exciting GenAI capabilities, but it's really about the simplicity of adoption and making AI accessible to everyone in the organization with very simple tools.
I also want to talk about, if we just look at this, developer audience, DevOps, whatever label we want to use it, how or what impact do you see on their work where they are not only becoming more efficient, they're also able to focus more on writing business application, because sometimes their time get wasted so much on a lot of plumbing that doesn't bring any value add. And third part is cost. How do you also make it so that the cost is not ballooning up? It's also more cost efficient.
So there are two things that we've done. One is really to your point. Usually developers, right, they have a huge backlog, right? Like years of backlog of things that they want to be able to build. But now with the introduction of creator capabilities within the ServiceNow platform, we're introducing things like app generation. So you can generate an application simply by describing a business process, making it super easy for developers to create that app and kind of close the backlog. Similar like playbook generation, like you can just use natural language prompts to create these repeatable and auditable processes within the organization. And then we talked about the service catalog item. That's also, why do you need to go to a builder if you can just describe exactly what you want to do? So we made all of that super easy. And we also made it available in the government community cloud. So not just, like public companies or private companies are able to do that, but even governments are able to benefit from these capabilities and create more applications, more digital, experiences for employees and customers. So that's on the how do you leverage the ServiceNow platform to really close, backlog gaps that maybe took years. Now you can do it in months and be more productive. But we also built capabilities for those GenAI developers. That how can they get more out of GenAI and accelerate their generative AI development experience. So we introduce in prompt management, like how can you just build, using prompts to build new interfaces within ServiceNow and making it faster in your organization. And then we talked about how customers can just take the LLMs that they built and instantly leverage it within ServiceNow, making it available for all employees as part of their workflow. So we're really looking at, two sides of the coin for developers. How can they, within ServiceNow, build those applications and objects more quickly, as well as how can they accelerate generative AI? And that is an exciting thing, because if you think about OpenAI and ChatGPT, there's a lot of text in, text out, right? You write text and then you get text back. And, I was trying to build a website and you get a list of things that, put this. But at the end of the day, it doesn't do it for you. And I think that's where the power of ServiceNow, because you can describe an app and it creates the app for you. You don't have to think about it too much. It just take it from a text to a full action, to an object. And that's the thing that is really exciting for us and for our customers.
When you look at GenAI, as much as we are excited about it, do you see this as a foundational, fundamental technology like the Linux kernel, the containers, the Kubernetes, or you see that, yeah, this is one of those technologies that show up once in a while, we'll see how things shape up, or you feel that no, it is already making an inroads where this is, that level of technology?
No, I think this is a transformation. I think we're in the middle of a huge transformation. I look at it more like, like the iPhone introduction. And so just like today, right, like I forgot my phone, like on the weekend, I forgot my phone at home. And you could sense the anxiety, like, oh my God, like I don't have my phone with me. What am I going to do? I think that very soon it will be the same with AI. Like if you're going to be so dependent on AI and on the capabilities, and it just makes our life so much easier, that you're going to have this anxiety. Like if, the AI doesn't work for you, if there's something going on, like what are you going to do? I do think this is going to be a game changer. I think when we're thinking about work, you're going to have your AI twin that is working with you. You're going to have these personal assistants that are there to make you more productive, to make sure you don't forget anything, to make sure that you're a good citizen inside your work. I truly believe that we're in the middle of a transformation and we're just taking the first few steps.
What kind of trends, progresses that you are seeing? It could be from the ServiceNow's perspective, your customer basis perspective, where you're saying, hey, this is the next where we are heading with GenAI. These are the things that we will have, which we could not even have envisioned 2 years earlier.
Yeah, I think there are two things that I'm seeing that are emerging that maybe 6 and 12 months ago still felt like science, fiction. One of them is multimodality, right? We're seeing a lot more usage of voice, image, video, having augmented interaction. And I think that will be huge as we're starting to think about the future of work and the future of experiences. It's going to be more than just text. It's really going to be an immersive experience. And then the second thing is really having what we call reasoning and planning. Today, you still, as a user, you have to tell GenAI, exactly what you want. And you have to do a lot of the things right? You need to tell it, oh, do this first, then do that, then do that. I think we're going to move into a world where you just describe what you want to achieve. Like, what is the goal? What is the outcome that you want? And generative AI will be able to understand that and break it down to smaller tasks and be able to plan what exactly needs to be done to achieve that goal. So I think these are the two things that, as I look at, the next technical evolution and, new advancements, those are the two things that I'm looking into. So one of the things that we're seeing with customers, that we are seeing a shift. If 12 months ago, and I touched a little bit on that, customers thought they have to choose the one GenAI vendor. Like you have to choose between, ServiceNow and Microsoft or this and that. Like you have to choose the one. That's not the case. We're entering a world where different companies, build different types of assistants and each are good at what they do. So for example, like we announced at Knowledge, and it's going to go live in August, the integration between ServiceNow Now Assist and Microsoft Copilot. And really the idea is that each one does their thing, their best. Like we know how to do service delivery. We know how to understand when you're looking to request a new laptop or when you need to reset your password or where you need to take a paternity leave. That's where our strength is. Microsoft is good at the productivity, right? Summarizing your emails and telling you what's the meeting that you have next Wednesday. But when you combine the two, that's where magic happens. And that's where, as employees, we get so much more value from the enterprise experiences where I can go and I can ask to summarize my emails, but I can also ask for a laptop replacement. And the best tool is there to support me. And so we're seeing a world where it's not an or, you need to choose this vendor or that vendor. It's an and. And we're going to see more and more of these assistants being able to talk to each other and hand off work from one another, making sure that the context is being passed accordingly.
Dorit, thank you so much for taking time out today and talk about not only the work that ServiceNow is doing in the GenAI space, but how it's changing, how GenAI in general is transforming a lot of industries and how you folks are making it easier. The way I look at you folks, like as we talked about democratizing it, making it more accessible to teams, and it doesn't matter what operation they're into, you folks have something for all the teams. So thanks for sharing all those great insights, and I would love to have you folks again on the show. Thank you.
Well, thank you for having me, Swapnil. It's been my pleasure, and yes, would love to come back.